Hello, welcome to day one of another 14 days. Can you believe it? Why didn't we just call it 28 days or whatever 3 14s are? I'm going to do some more work in pastel. I'm really keen on pastel at the moment. I'm doing quite a lot of pastel drawings that I then use as a basis for paintings. Because I like how quick it is and it helps me find subjects and decide how to deal with them. And what I wanted to show you today was working, as I've done with some of the other drawings in pastel. I'm going to draw this lovely violin hanging on the wall next to Penny Reid's beautiful painting of a seal. But it's particularly the light, and we're getting this amazing light at the moment. It's very sunny. Strong shadows inside the house and patches of light. So I like this violin and its shadow. And what I want to demonstrate is, as I've done before, working with charcoal and then pastel. But I also want to show you how I can mix those materials, soften them, and work with some of the shadows and some of the other elements of the subject. So, with previous demonstrations, I have drawn in charcoal, then I've smudged it, drawn a bit with charcoal, and then sprayed it with fixative. This time I'm not going to spray with fixative. I'm just going to build up the drawing and soften it and redraw and soften. And basically it's all about trying to decide where to place the emphasis in the drawing. And so I'm hoping to do a fair bit of mixing on the paper and then bring out certain emphasis on top of, so the mixing will soften things, blend them. You can see me doing that, I hope, with my finger like that. I can even bring it closer to you so you can really see, as long as it's not too dark. So building up and smudging, not making anything too definite yet, because the definite quality is what I want to work towards, and it's often going to be working with the tip of the pastel or the tip of the charcoal and not smudging that will give the definition. So first I'm laying down plenty of dark. This violin is fairly dark against a lighter wall. And then it's not so strong at the moment, but there is a nice soft shadow on the wall. So I'm working on grey sugar paper, and it's all being done in willow charcoal at the moment, and some of it's being rubbed in. I'm actually going to get a bit of grey charcoal everywhere because I'm going to be doing a lot of smudging and mixing on the drawing, and I think I don't want that wall to be absolutely clean colour, so maybe I'll do a bit of background colour now, and we'll have a little bit of negative shape. So I'm getting this pale yellow, so sort of Naples yellow pastel on top of the charcoal, putting it on with the side of the pastel, and then I'm going to smudge it again. So really mixing things together. Now I think I'll put something onto the instrument. Bit of orange. And again, I'm going to mix it. So I'm keeping everything soft. And that's really the process. Lots of mixing, not always knowing exactly what colours are going to do it. So a bit of trial and error. Sometimes you've got to wipe your fingers. If your fingers are just all dirty, then You have to wipe them, make sure that you're not just muddying everything. So I don't know how that looks, but I like that softness. And so maybe I'll start doing the sharpening up now, because this could be a much longer process, but you might have all gone home if I take too long. So let me just darken a few places again. So darken some of the neck and that bit of the violin, maybe the F-holes and the bow. And then there's a different sort of brown, a much redder brown. Again, I think I want to mix that in. Get the red and the orange brown together. Might be a little bit too orange. Then on the side of the violin, because from where I'm drawing, I do actually see a side. So you see now I'm making those lines, although that side, stand out because I'm using the tip of the pastel. This is the colour that I use the side of to get a hint of colour. And now I'm using the tip of it to make it a bit sharper, and I think even a lighter one. So I'm making those edges stand out more sharply. And now I think what I want is the bow, which is hanging down in front. So that's the wood of the bow, and some of that could also go. So I'm doing quite a lot of defining of the edge of the instrument. And find the F-hole again. And then I'm going to do some defining using a negative shape of the wall. Dust my hands. And let's find where it is. And I'll just put in actually the bow itself. So start bringing some of that along to this side, because if you remember I was saying that I'm trying to do something about the light and the softness of the shadows. It's giving me a little bit of a sharp edge there, but on this side I want to mix again and get something of the shape. So that is coming between the light side, which is a bit sharper and more colourful. It's probably time to get some strings on. I'll try a bit of grey first. Try and find a sharp bit. I can't do straight lines. Doesn't matter. And then we've got a bit of a bridge. So some straight lines there. And some more colour into the chin rest there. So I want to conclude this, and it's going to be a combination of brightening up the light and some of the edges, and maybe particularly getting the edges of the shadow, and then deciding what else I'm going to bring out of this instrument. So, as I say, what I've been trying to show you then is working with charcoal first, but all the way through mixing the charcoal and the chalks, softening and smudging, and then gradually deciding what to make more definite, and perhaps using the edge of the pastel and smudging to mix on the surface of the drawing. And the thing is, you might think, well, you know, I'm going around in circles, but I am actually building up mixtures. And even with this is just sugar paper, which hasn't really got much of a tooth to it, but it is actually still allowing me to mix on the surface of the drawing. And if you keep smudging and standing back, I think this just can be a really lovely effect, because you're drawing light and you're managing that light. So to really conclude this, I should try and find my grey pastel, because I think part of what's needed is some of these black areas, like that bit of the the neck and the bridge. They could do with being made a bit greyer. And I used a light grey for the strings. I'm just wondering if I'll get even a bit whiter. There's a bit of the bow up here, which is quite shiny. And there's also a little bit of a confusion between the bow, the string of the bow, and the white wall. Should get some colour in there. So I think that's almost all I want to show you. So building up pastel, softening, smudging, and I need to put the bridge in. And trying to get, in a way, a representation of the light. And we're getting this amazing light at the moment. So I'm actually this afternoon, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. And rather than drawing an object, I'm going to draw probably a view through some of the rooms. But I want to try and work with the pattern of light. And I'll be doing a lot of this smudging and building up the pastel in order to get the combination of sharp, colourful effects where the light hits the surface, but also softer and sometimes smudged qualities of shadows and things lost a little bit in the dark. So there we go. I think I should stop there. I think I've probably demonstrated as much as is going to be possible in this time. A little bit more light on the bow. Well, I could go on and on and on, but I think I have to stop because I think I've made my main points. And maybe I'll have a look and see this live that I'm doing it this afternoon, but you'd be able to get it again on my Facebook page tomorrow. Okay, well, I hope you can do something similar, working with light and shadow, mixing chalk pastels and charcoal. Don't spray it, keep building it up, smudging it, and see what you can get.